Hey everybody, this is Stephanie. Thanks for tuning in. I am back, you guys. I am slowly easing back into creating on a regular basis. Although I have not fully stopped, I really did trim and slow down on the amount of projects that I've been doing this year. It is so nice to come back, especially during as the holidays arrive. So this is my October daily for 2022. I did get quite a few layouts done last year, and I did share them here on the channel. The rest of the layouts that I did complete were for this year of 2023. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing the flip through, and I will share which collections are which for the layout, since I did do quite a few, and then also grabbing from my stash. So here I have my reason why, and I do have a process video like I mentioned for the first few layouts. So this is the collection that I worked with from, it's Echo Park, called Spooky. I love using this silhouette cut file, I believe it was, and just placing these witchy hands and placing my reason why in a crystal ball. I am also happy to say that I got to stick in one album. I do try and strive for that. No guarantees that it's going to happen each year, but that is something that I do like to have, just one album. Moving to the next layout, it is my bucket list. I used the LE Studio collection that released, I believe, in October of last year. And I like the way I did the background stamping with a simple star cluster with gray. So it's very faint, very light, but it just adds that perfect touch. This is another layout that I have a process video, and it is working with a digital collection from Tracery Designs. I believe it's called October Mood. I was on the design team last year, so I loved this collection though. For this layout, I honed in on all the Halloween vibes, and then the next layout I kind of pulled in from the autumn or fall vibe. So I just love that the play on I was able to pull in what I wanted in a sense to work for the story that I wanted to share. The one thing, this album is roughly between 80-95% done. I just have to do the journaling and print out a couple of a few photos, and then I'm done. But for the meantime, I wanted to get started on my October daily for 2023. And when I say October daily, it's really like October documenting. I don't do it on a daily basis. I do it story by story. I don't even know if I have 31 stories, so that is also one more thing that I am going to add. If I happen to have 31 stories in here, then I will add the numbers. However, if I don't, I'm just going to leave it as it is for this album and my 2023. Oh, and this one was just documenting my mug, my nails being painted, and then my little tree in the back being pulled out. And then I also got a Halloween big tree that this last year. So this layout, along with the other ones, I believe I had prepped, or I kind of pre-prepped, or kind of like did foundation pages. And what I love about this is that this was the main inspiration, and although this is the idea that I had in mind, the sketch, it did have to kind of evolve since I had more pictures than I anticipated and I wanted to include. But working with the same collection, I really love how the colors coordinated for this story, which was just a birthday party from at Chuck E. Cheese, which is why this was the main inspiration with the tickets. Love how that turned out, you guys. And I'm sharing this flip through hopefully to just inspire you guys in some way to use this in your album, either for this year or for previous years if you're documenting a previous year. So here is a quick pocket page here, adding some pictures, some filler cards from the Echo Park Spooky collection, and this is one of the full page photos that I have to print out. Alright, this is another process video I have. It is working with a sketch for Tracery Designs, and I just kind of made one page here just documenting how I love to take notice of when the spooky season arrives at stores. And I need to place the date here. That's the one time I really like to include a date, just to make note each year when it arrives. To place this traveler's notebook insert here, I just added some adhesive, acetate, just to kind of place it in. Now this side of the spread is a different story, and it's documenting the Spirit Halloween store visit. And I love adding in these little tile stickers. It says "Be very afraid," and that's just something to note is that last year he was scared, my toddler Henry, to go into the store, and this year for 2023 he was more than happy to run around, and he did do a little bit of jumping away from some of the ones that are interactive or that the pop-up elements, but for the most part it's something that you just get to see and notice that as they get older they are no longer scared. So like I said, my journaling needs to be the last thing that I get done, but if I'm going to be doing any handwriting journaling, I will do that off camera. Here's another story, and it's documenting why we love Halloween, and I asked everybody what were their reasons, and I love how this turned out. I love adding in a vellum pocket. It doesn't pull away from the layout as much. This is a retired digital collection from Tracery Designs. I love the combination of the traditional colors of Halloween and the pinks that were added into it. And I think it was called Ghosts Just Want to Have Fun or something, but yeah, so this is another Echo Park spooky collection layout. So I have this 4x6. I thought it was perfect on its own here to kind of like foreshadow the big photo that I have of my toddler in his Halloween PJs. And here I have a 3x4 card, and I just placed a little bit pieces of ribbon to pull out to do my journaling. I like how this perfectly hides him so you don't know where the main focal of that photo is. Moving to this side here, it says "Let's get spooky, a hunting we will go," and I have, this is not organized since I didn't place them in there all perfect. It would have been better like placing them like this. However, there is some adhesive at the bottom of each of these cards since they got pushed in too far, so I'm gonna have to clean that off. So I have some of the cards, and this is just documenting reading some spooky books to my toddler, and we're doing that again this year. So I'm going to just place those in there, and I'll organize them like so. This is a single page layout. Now, I think this is one of the pages that I had originally did this year. I'm not 100% sure. And it was just a list of all the Halloween movies that we like to generally try and see every year. So although I did not mark the ones that we saw last year, I do like having this list that I can refer back to for the years to come. Who knows, they may, of course we might end up adding more each year, and so it's just nice to have that there. Now, moving to the right side of the layout here, I had originally had a different idea about how I wanted to document Hocus Pocus. So I originally had made this Hocus Pocus themed book, and I thought I can document all things Hocus Pocus in here, along with placing some of the spells in like that old style paper. I so had this idea last year, and I loved the way it turned out. Unfortunately, I didn't like how big it was, so this is the size of outside of the page protectors, and so I would have to place it on the left side automatically, so that way I don't place the holes on the spine. And I didn't like the idea of placing holes within the book. I feel like it just ruined the aesthetic. Of course, I just could have placed it on the back of the book. Again, I just did not like that. I could have just added in like some acetate or vellum attachment, but then it would have been too big and it would have stuck out. So I didn't like that either. I thought about placing a folder on one of the cover, the front or the back, but then it would kind of come out of its chronological order. So I decided that, you know what, I would just use this as decor on my mantle or in my craft room, or maybe I'll use it for 2023. I have no idea, but I'm not going to do it again in a smaller form for this album. I'm just going to go ahead and document all things Hocus Pocus in this glassine or like kind of like bakery bag, and I just placed some pattern paper here. This is from a paper pad from Joann's. I cannot remember the name, but it was popular like 2 years back, and I'm going to be okay with that. So I had watched Hocus Pocus Part 2, and then we also had 2 Hocus Pocus games that we played, and I'm going to place those photos in here. That's the other thing that I need to get done. Here's a filler page here, just adding in some more of that pattern paper from that paper pad, and then on here on the right side it is a 6x8 2x2 square pockets of our pictures from doing spooky selfies together. I love the way that turned out. Now the empty ones, I debated if I want to place some sequins or I'm just going to leave them like that and probably place some pattern paper or vellum to finish it off. I'm okay with the way it is. It's just because I have sequins over here. I didn't really feel like I wanted to add more, so I may add some vellum just to kind of like finish it off, if you will. Alright, moving to the next story here. I love the way this turned out, you guys. So my son's birthday is in October as well. So this is a mason jar, and my son right here, that looks funny over here, his name is Mason, so I had to do a mason jar to document his birthday. I didn't create like a big volume or 3D embellishment here since I am trying to stay within one album, but it still has that shaker feel. So we're gonna go ahead and flip this over. And I was trying to maintain that aesthetic of a mason jar, so this is how I created a interactive flap, so that way I didn't go beyond the cut file. It says no tricks, just treats for someone sweet, and you open this up and it just documents some of the things that we did on his birthday, like playing board games and decorated the house. And here on the back side, I also made some red velvet cupcakes because he likes red velvet, and I did some of the frosting into brains. And I love the way that turned out. And I just have this little clip here to kind of hold it in place so that way it doesn't flap open. So that was one of the struggles that I had, was when you have this here, you don't see anything on that spiderweb pattern background paper, and I love it. I didn't want to ruin the aesthetic and have anything sticking out, so then it kind of left this page here kind of blank, and I'm okay with it, I guess. It just was a bit of a struggle keeping it within this cut file. I did make a couple of mistakes, but I'm going to go ahead and add a 4x6 here and do the journaling. So again, so that's all I have left to do, you guys. 80 to 95% done. Alright, we're moving to the next single page layouts here. This is documenting our decor inside. I love to document the mantle and how I set it up, especially, just to see if things change year to year. And also the totes, bringing them out. I love bringing out all the costumes that we have gathered from previous years, and the boys love to put them on and kind of play dress up, but for boys. And I just have a ton of different embellishments and stickers from the Echo Park Spooky Collection. The best thing that I also loved, I was so happy to use this 4x6 card from that collection, and it just says a haunted home is a happy home. I could have did some journaling here in the back, but there was nothing that I really wanted to document, so I just placed a 3x4 filler card. Here, moving to the right side, I am documenting the outside decoration of the house, and here is where my husband placed his pumpkin patch of so cute, they're scary pumpkins, and his pond of dead insects like frogs and other things. And I really like this border here to kind of reflect the house, the spooky house. Then I kind of got a little creative, and I went with some black cardstock for the background for both of these layouts, and it's just documenting the spooky treats in their lunchbox and seasonal treats that we ate throughout the month of October. So my husband was a good sport and had so much fun creating his my middle child's bagels in spooky themed. Also some spooky like ghosties here, and then I also did jokes in his lunchbox for the month, and the jokes kind of varied. So one week it was like vampires, another week it was witches, another week it was ghost, and I think a couple of them were for Frankenstein. So I had to use this little collage of all the characters because it reminds me that that's how I had did his jokes. And I love the way this had a theme here of witches, so I cut one of the frames here and added the same pattern paper on both sides, and I love the way that turned out. So it was nice to do something different and not use so much pattern paper and just create a collage of photos and little embellishments here and there. Here on this side I have another single page layout, and this is just documenting the mindset that I was currently in. I felt so overwhelmed, and I had just started working full time, and there were a lot of things that were falling off the list of what we had planned just because it was just too much on our plate, and my mindset was just completely maxed out. So I like to have this small title here that says boo, like that's the current state I was. Now, this is not the correct photo. This is actually a photo that I took in 2023, and I decided that I wanted to just have, I'm going to go ahead and document that I was in a poor state, but I'm not going to share that photo. I think if I had documented this in real time last year, then I would have done it that way, but I'm okay and happy to accept that that was a mindset then and it's not now. So there's pros and cons to every situation, and when you're documenting in between currently and when you go back and you're reflecting. So I like both of them, so it's nice either way. Here on the next layout, it is another story to document. We were so excited that McDonald's was bringing back the buckets. How unfortunately it was just chaos, you guys. So chaos with chaos, it just kind of goes hand in hand, I guess. And I placed some of these spiders here to kind of reflect how everybody kind of came out the woodworks or the floor just coming to McDonald's. It was so full. It was so, I don't know. It was definitely a sight and a story to remember. If we were to do that again, yeah, no, no, we would not. But it was still something, and I am glad we did get the buckets. But yeah, and something to note that I am trying not to go into another album, so this is how I added in some volume by kind of curling here and making these torn edges and layering up the pages as they are. Little things like that I felt like added up and some more volume to my layout. This is a simple layout here on the left side, and it's just documenting the new shirts. It's actually kind of like a double layout since us three got new shirts, and then I always like to document when my husband and I wear matching Night Before Christmas shirts. I also had got a PJs, Halloween PJs that were on clearance from the previous year, and I got to enjoy them this year. So here's where I'm going to be placing my journaling. Love the way that turned out. This is my favorite embellishment, and so this is kind of like the main focal piece to share this story. It says I'm just chilling with my creeps because they were so happy to get Halloween shirts. I don't know, I think this was too big for him, so he got to finally really like fit into it this year. So although he had it, he was able to really fit into it finally. Alright, moving to the next layout here, I have our gingerbread houses being decorated, and I grabbed the Carta Bella Halloween Market, and I placed a ton of different candy embellishment stickers here, and I just used a simple cardstock background. Right, and on the right side here I have a 4x6 collage of each of the boys decorating their haunted house. And I am placing a stripe paper here to do my journaling. As you can see, I have referred now to Pocket Pages. This is me trying to just finish up this album and move on to 2023. This is talking about how we were carving pumpkins, and I love the way it turned out. I also liked using a ton of the pumpkin stickers from the Carta Bella collection, and I believe this is the Spooky collection. So I added way more stickers on these Pocket Pages than I think I normally would on a normal basis. This is documenting when we went to SeaWorld and we enjoyed the haunted houses there. So I love how these gates kind of just open up and they're walking in. This is the Simple Stories older collection. I'm so sorry I don't remember the name. I will be placing it here on the screen. And I just have this stripe paper to do my journaling. I have a little 4x6 insert, and I place some additional photos on here. I don't know why this is my favorite layout. I can't say that, I don't like the other ones. I do like them for however I end up going with sharing each story, but for some reason, I think it just, maybe because how fast it went, or I was finally getting the groove of scrapbooking again, but I just love the way this side of the layout turned out. I guess that little collage of all the die cuts, and I cannot wait to do this again. So this was documenting at SeaWorld. I grabbed a Hollow Scream um, alcoholic drink, and it was in a blood bag. I am not a big drinker. However, I do like to take advantage of the seasonal items that are there, and it was so nice to enjoy it. And I love this cute die cut. It says I'm just here for the booze, and I just went ahead and added some more here, and I call this layout done. Alright, now this is the last photo that I have to add here on the left side. It's going to be a full page photo of my son in one of the costumes we've had from previous years, and he was playing with it, and I just love how cute he looks. I have a milk carton costume, and then another one was of cookies. They were cookies and milk. Actually, I was the milk, and my middle child was the cookie one year, and that's something that they always pull out every year to play with throughout the season, and this year was no different. And I like documenting the stories that are the same, because one year they're not going to be. They are still numbered, these things. Alright, here moving to the right side of my layout, I have another pocket page, and this is documenting the costumes that they were for 2022. As you can see here, I had originally, he wanted to be a ghost, and I was so happy because I feel like that's one of the iconic characters to be, I guess, like a rite of passage one year to be a traditional costume for Halloween. Unfortunately, it did not arrive on time. It got delayed. I was so bummed. So he decided to be one of the older costumes we've had, which was a Star Wars. And he was, another thing I want to note is that he is like, one picture, good, you got your photo, and he was so happy to pose and have fun. And again, just something to note as the years go by, what, one photo for him, multiple photos, and then who knows what it'll be for this year or the following. This is documenting Halloween and everything that we did on this day. So this is some photos of some decorations that we liked. I got one photo of them in motion, and that is it. This is my favorite die cut that I think captures Halloween for us. And it just says, sticky faces, tired feet, one less house, trick or treat. My boys, within an hour and a half, they were ready to go home. They're like, we're good. While my husband and I were like, oh, we should do one more house, you guys. Like, don't quit now. We're not done. There's still more houses to enjoy. Let's go. Let's do one more house. And my kids were just like, no, we're good. We got enough candy. Let's head home. So I thought it was so comical that these kids are different. These kids are not as, I don't know. I mean, we usually go trick-or-treating until they tell us, hey, it's time to go. Until there is no more candy. Taking a sip of my coffee. That was just, it's still crazy. So for breakfast at IHOP, I had wanted to get the boys their seasonal breakfast at IHOP, but the boys just picked waffles, so I thought, well, I mean, alright then, and it is what it is, take it in stride. And then for dinner, we got the scary corn dogs. It was just a great deal, 50 cents corn dogs. And then I have a picture of each of their buckets of their candy. I like to document how much they get and the buckets that they chose. The last story that I am documenting in my album is date night. So date night is, we watched on Halloween night Warm Bodies, and then I have a photo. It doesn't show as good. I noticed that the Canon selfie, when I print my 3x4 photos, it's not the best quality, but I'm just going to go ahead and accept it. And this is where I'm going to do my journaling, and I may do some little embellishment right here, 3x4 embellishment of zombies. I have to pull out from my stash. But other than that, this album is pretty much complete. And it did get into just one album, which is something that I was more than happy to say, even though it is on the chunkier side. You guys, I hope you got inspired in some way as you enjoyed this flip through. Tune in. I'm going to be sharing the supplies that I'm going to be using for my 2023 October daily, and a few processes of how much I can get done for the rest of October. I would really like to get started. So comment down below and let me know which was your favorite layout, and if you documented 2022, and if you're documenting 2023. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time. Bye.